Hey everyone, I'm Joe, and welcome to the Bent Whisker Lounge. First of all, I'm sorry that I haven't made one of these videos in well over a year now, but let's admit, it was a pretty crazy year. Let's see, I got married, I switched jobs, I obviously moved to a nicer place. A lot's been going on, so I haven't really had time to make one of these videos. But that's all cool, because I got a pretty cool video I want to do for you guys today. I'm going to be doing my first ever mug review, my first ever Tiki mug review. And I'm really excited about this one because I've been chasing after this particular mug for probably the better part of like 2 years now. And my lovely new wife actually went ahead and bought it for me without me knowing it. She found it on a mug trading group that we're both a part of, messaged the guy privately, and surprised me with it one day. So without further ado, let me show you one of my favorite new mugs. This is the 5th edition Frankenstein variant of the Esotico King Tā Moko. If I mispronounced that, I'm very, very sorry. It was originally made by a guy named John Mulder, who goes by Ecum Bookum Tiki Mugs. He's based out of St. Petersburg, and you can follow him on Instagram at Mulder142. It's sold exclusively at Esotico in Miami, which I have not made it there yet. Every time that I've gone to Florida in the last year, I've gone straight to Orlando. Funny enough, that's where we got married. We got married at Trader Sam's in the Polynesian Hotel in Walt Disney World. Just throwing that out there. So this mug is absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to be rating these mugs when I do this based on a number of criteria. I'm going to be rating its glaze, its sculpt, and its structure, and then I'll give you an overall rating. And then, of course, I'm going to share with you a recipe on what to put in this bad boy. So, first of all, let me just give you some specs on it. It's weighs in at about like 2 pounds, according to my weight scale. Anyways, just under 2 pounds. So it's a heavy boy. It's obviously made completely out of ceramic, like most Tiki mugs are. Its height, it's about 7.5 inches or so. Cost, according to my friend Gabe over at Search for Tiki, you can also follow him on Instagram and check out his website, searchfortiki.com. Shout out to Gabe. He's been doing a lot to connect to the New England Tiki community, which is really, really cool. Him and my friend Andy over at Easy Tiki Drinks. Again, follow him on Instagram, follow him on YouTube. Check him out. He's a really cool dude. Anyways, Search for Tiki puts the average price of this mug at about 116 USD. I was lucky enough to pick it up, or my wife was lucky enough to pick it up for 120. So right on par with the average. I've seen this mug go on eBay for upwards of like 220, maybe even 300, because it's a pretty rare mug. I have number 110 out of, actually I don't know. I don't know how big of a run it was. Sorry, I'll have to look that up later, and I might, put a caption on this if I can find that number, but it was a very limited run. So let's get into the rating of this guy. Its glaze. This is one of my favorite parts about this mug, actually. It's a combination of gloss and matte glazes. He's got sort of a tan-ish green skin to him, and it actually has a really nice gradient from the green into the tan, and there's some nice shadowing going on here. That's all matte. His shirt is this nice bright orange, which is glossy, and then his hair actually has a combination of gloss on sort of the crevices of his hair, but for the most part, it's matte. So it's a really, really nice combination of matte and gloss. The scar across his forehead has a gloss coat on the inside of it, and it's surrounded by a matte coat. Now, if you've never painted ceramics before, it's not like just painting something with acrylic where you paint it on and you know exactly what it looks like and there it is. You don't really know what these mugs look like until they go through the firing process and they come out and you examine them. I assume this must have gone through a lot of test glazes before Mulder came up with this final product. And it's very impressive that he was able to get such a clean gloss within all of that matte without it sort of combining and muddling, if you know what I mean. There's a couple little imperfections on it. There's a couple little spots back here on his hair where the black didn't totally cover. There's a couple little sort of dripping, pooling effects towards the bottom of it. These are very, very minor things though, but what that tells me is that this is a handmade, hand-glazed mug. It's not some of the sort of mass-produced stuff you usually see. It's a very, very impressive job. I'm gonna give it I'm gonna go 4.5 out of 5. Only for those small little imperfections. I would give it a 5 out of 5 if it was completely flawless, but honestly, I think nothing should be completely flawless, especially when it comes to the arts. Okay, now let's move on to the sculpt. What I mean by that is just, this is the overall picture of it. I think it's a really, really cool concept. It's a really cool idea. There's a couple different conversations to go on here. Is it cool to sort of depict a real living person as a Frankenstein monster, or there's also a zombie variant of this? Personally, I think whatever. I'm actually not even that big of an Elvis fan. I'm really more of a Johnny Cash kind of guy. And I think Elvis in real life was kind of not the best person. I'm going to be skipping his new biography that comes out at the end of the month. But you can't say that the dude didn't have cool style. So I think they really captured that really well. They captured his look really well. There's probably another conversation to be had about let's face it, a white guy with a bunch of Maori war tattoos on his face. There's also a wider conversation to go on about cultural appropriation in Tiki in general. I don't think I'm the guy to have that conversation, though. I'm just going to say that it's a conversation worth having, but I'm probably not going to be the guy who initiates it. I'd be really, really happy to hear from anybody else if they have some serious thoughts about it, but I'm going to kind of let that one sit. Overall, I think it's a very, very well sculpted mug. The details in the hair, the tiny little details on the tattoos on his face, all of these crisp lines in his shirt really hold up really, really well. Overall, I think it's a really, really nice piece, and the Frankenstein overlay is really what sells it for me. He's got little bolts on the side of his neck here, and the scar across his head. That's what makes this the Frankenstein mug. A couple other variants. There's like I said, there's a zombie version, there is a Christmas version, and there's a couple other ones that are just normal old Elvis. But this one I really, really gravitated toward because Frankie's probably my second favorite Universal monster. I'll let you guys guess as to which one's my first, but that's a video for a different time. For sculpt, again, I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5. This is really, really amazing work. I'm not even gonna lie. So let's move on to the structure of this thing. By that, what I mean is, I filled this thing up a couple times. I filled it up to measure its capacity, which I forgot to mention it's a solid 24 ounces that goes in this thing. It holds a full 3 cups or about 710 milliliters. You can probably take any recipe, triple it, and this thing will hold it just fine. No leaks whatsoever, no problems with its structural integrity at all. Like I said, it's about 2 pounds. I could probably beat someone with it. If I were to knock it over or something, then I think it would probably even survive that. Very, very sturdy, very well built. You're not gonna have any issues with this mug at all if you can ever get your hands on it. Again, structure, I'm gonna give it another 5 out of 5. I know it seems kind of lame to give almost a perfect score to my first ever mug review, but this is kind of why I held off on doing these until I got this one. Like I said, guys, this has been a grail chase for me for a long time, and I'm just like, I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked that it's part of my collection. Which, if anyone has ever visited my bar and seen it, I've got a lot of mugs. I've got a lot of them. I'm not going to do a review on all of them, but there's a lot. Let's just leave it at that. And this is easily one of my top 3, I would say. Probably one of my favorite mugs that I own now. So that all being said, I think it's time to put something in it and have a drink. What do you guys say? So this is a recipe that I worked on. You guys voted on the name of it. I'm going to call it the Bubba Ho Tep, which is a really weird, obscure movie, but Bruce Campbell plays Elvis in it, and he fights a mummy. It's pretty dope. So Elvis is associated pretty universally with peanut butter and banana. Anytime that you see a peanut butter banana sandwich on the menu, it's probably called something like the King or the Elvis or whatever. There's a couple conflicting stories as to why he's associated with it. Some people say that in one of his autobiographies or biographies that he's made, it was said that his mother would make a fried peanut butter and banana sandwich for him every day growing up. There's another cool story about him taking his entire crew and hopping on a plane from Memphis to, oh boy, I'm blanking on it, but I want to say it was St. Louis. I might put a caption down here to correct that if I need to. Basically, they all flew out to this diner just to get this one sandwich that they specialized in, called a Fool's Gold, which was actually a whole loaf of sourdough, an entire jar of peanut butter, an entire jar of jelly, an entire pound of bacon, which racks up to something crazy, like 8,000 calories. But the story goes that that was actually obscured over time to basically just be whittled down to just peanut butter and banana. I don't know the true story, but you're free to speculate, you're free to Google it, you're free to watch other YouTube videos on, you know, people who know more about Elvis than I do. Like I said, I'm not that big of a fan. I just really love this mug. Anyways, I wanted to do a peanut butter and banana cocktail that isn't just this crap. I hate this stuff, honestly. It's super, super sweet, and honestly, I've seen so many recipes that are just an ounce of this, put it over ice, and it's called the King. I think this stuff sucks, and I want to do better than that. So what I did was I made my own banana-infused rum. So I took about a cup of Bacardi and maybe half a cup of Appleton Estate, chopped up two medium-sized bananas, put it in a mason jar, let it sit for 3 days, strained it out, and then strained it again through some cheesecloth to get all the particles out. And I ended up with a nice, funky banana rum. I started with Bacardi mostly because I wanted a rum that didn't really have a lot of flavor or character to begin with, so that the banana would really be up front. So, what you are going to need for this recipe is fresh squeezed lemon juice, banana infused rum, cinnamon syrup, Orgeat, Angostura bitters, black walnut bitters, and macadamia nut liqueur. I'm using Kahana Royale. You can use Trader Vic's or anything else that you have. If you're really, really in a pinch, Frangelico will work just fine, but it's some sort of nut-based liqueur. I think the funny thing about this recipe is that it ends up tasting like peanut butter. There's 3 different nuts in it: macadamia, walnut, and almond syrup. None of them are peanuts. Go figure. So, let's get it going. First thing you're gonna need is your shaker tin. We're gonna start off by juicing a lemon, and you're gonna need 0.75 ounces of fresh squeezed lemon juice. I know that sounds kind of weird, lemon juice in a peanut butter banana cocktail, but trust me on this, this lemon juice is gonna help brighten this up, and it's gonna make it so that it's not so much of a dessert cocktail, but, you know, something a little bit more classy and a little bit more refreshing. Next, you're gonna need half an ounce of your cinnamon syrup. This is something that I make at home. I really don't know of any commercially available cinnamon syrups other than something you would put in your coffee, but it's very, very easy to make. If you go in my cocktail syrups tab, you can find how to make it yourself. Next up, you're gonna need half an ounce of your Orgeat or your almond syrup. There's a couple commercially available ones available out there that are fine, but again, I like to make mine at home. Follow that up with a couple dashes, maybe 1 or 2 of Angostura. And again, with a couple dashes of black walnut bitters. I think you just need 1 dash on those. These are pretty strong tasting bitters, to be honest. Now let's get out of the booze. We are going to use 2 ounces of your banana-infused rum. And 1 ounce of your macadamia nut liqueur. Now we're ready to shake it up. Fill your small tin with, I'm gonna go with 1 big cube, 1 cracked cube, the old how to drink method. And give that a good shake for about 10 or 15 seconds. Get your Tā Moko King mug, dump it straight in. Now there's a lot of extra room in there, so we're going to top that all off with some crushed ice. Now what's a tiki drink without a cool garnish, right? Grab yourself a ripe banana. Carefully cut yourself a nice fat round of it. Sorta like that. Now grab yourself a cocktail pick and skewer that right in. Let that rest on top. Now I'm gonna take a couple dashes of lemon extract. Trust me on this. Grab yourself a metal or a glass straw, not plastic or paper. You'll see why in a second. Because now it's time to fry that banana. And there you have your Bubba Ho Tep. If you're gonna do a flaming cocktail, make sure you always blow it out before you try to drink it. Oh yeah. Oh, that is so good. Definitely. Not to pat myself on the back, but yeah, the peanut butter and nutty flavor, super, super nice. And like I said, the lemon brightens this thing up so it's not such a freaking dessert drink. Oh yeah, yeah. And then I added the cinnamon syrup to it because personally, anytime that I make this sandwich, that's the way I do it. I sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on the peanut butter before I slap the bananas on there. That's another joke tip for you. So yeah, give this one a shot. I'm gonna put the recipe up so you guys can try it at home and let me know what you think. I'm gonna go and sit down and enjoy this one so I can get ready for my next mug review. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I don't know if I'm going to make the jump to YouTube quite yet, but this is definitely going to go up on Instagram and maybe Facebook. But if you guys are enjoying this kind of thing, you want to see other mugs that I have, if you've been to my bar and said, hey, I really like that mug that you gave me that one drink out of that one time, I want to see more about it, let me know. Comments, you know, let me know what you guys want to see. But for now, God, it's good. That's so good. For now, I'll see you guys around.